My son was in Las Vegas with a lot of his friends and he came home. He didn't come home last night.
Continuing coverage on the deadly shooting at a bar last night in Ventura County. But we're just learning about the shooting and a call to action by a mother of one of the victims.
How sweet the sound.
A vigil to remember the victims in the tragedy in Thousand Oaks. See how they were honored in a live report.
2 wildfires burning in Ventura County in the shadows of a community already in mourning from last night's rampage. Up to the minute details on containment efforts, and Haley will have the latest on the dangerous fire conditions.
You're watching KESQ, the desert's news leader. This is News Channel 3 at 11.
Hello, I'm John White.
And I'm Karen Devine.
Guys, run! Go! He's coming out this door!
The Thousand Oaks community still in disbelief tonight. 12 people killed in a shooting at the Borderline Bar and Grill on College Night nearly 24 hours ago.
Here's what we now know. Tonight at 11, the shooter, 28-year-old Ian David Long, a former Marine, apparently took his own life after carrying out this rampage. Neighbors describe fits of anger and previous run-ins with law enforcement. Before a vigil tonight, the mother of one of the victims demanding tougher gun laws in a state that already has some of the toughest.
My name is Susan Orfanos. My son was Tel Orfanos. We lost him last night at the Borderline shooting. My son was in Las Vegas with a lot of his friends and he came home. He didn't come home last night, and I don't want prayers. I don't want thoughts. I want gun control, and I hope to God nobody else sends me any more prayers. I want gun control. No more guns. Thank you.
Obviously, a mother's heart broken tonight. News Channel 3's Lauren Coronado joins us live in Thousand Oaks, where a makeshift memorial is on display outside City Hall. Lauren, how are things going at this hour? I know it's late, but people keep stopping by.
It's starting to slow down a little bit, Karen, but what you said not too long ago, we're now reaching nearly 24 hours since those shots rang out. It's crazy to think during this time right now, last night, everyone was out there, those 12 victims out there just enjoying themselves on a Wednesday night college night. And then minutes later, of course, the horrific events unfolded. Like you said, that makeshift memorial is right behind me. It is slowing down, but people were dropping by with candles and messages for loved ones. And I can't stress what a whirlwind of emotion it's been for so many families today. I spoke with a young lady who's calling herself one of the lucky ones.
I've never experienced that kind of fear in my life before. I'm sorry.
With her hospital bracelet still on and bandages on her hands, 20-year-old Brooke Keeling details the moments she heard the first round of shots, immediately taking cover.
You know, the moment you hit the floor, what do you do after that? What are you supposed to do? Do you stay there? Do you run?
She remembers a complete stranger pulling her from the floor, breaking a window with a bar stool and rushing her to safety, all while trying to call her parents, who tell me it's a phone call they could have never prepared for.
And I asked her, were you shot? And it took a little bit, but then she said, no, I wasn't shot. I think I was cut.
The family reuniting at a nearby gas station, then rushing Brooke to the hospital with minor injuries.
I can't even describe how grateful I am for some of the people who sacrificed their life for us to be able to go out that window and be safe and come home to our families.
The Keelings bringing flowers to the vigil at Thousand Oaks City Hall, paying respects to the other survivors and the 12 lives lost.
It could have been her, you know. So we're so sorry to all the families. Like, we're so sorry.
May their souls and all the souls of the faithful departed, through the mercy of God, rest in peace.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. City leaders tell me they expected 10,000 people to come to tonight's vigil, but we're seeing so many more. Already 2 theaters at full capacity and hundreds more here at this field gathering round a makeshift memorial.
We'll rebuild and we'll be our family again, and everyone clearly is here to support each other.
We are, as the sign said as I pulled up, Thousand Oaks strong.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. Thousand Oaks strong. That's what a lot of people have been saying tonight. And right now, as I'm here in front of this makeshift memorial, I look around, and around poles and around trees, we're seeing orange ribbons. It looks like people wrapped around the trees. Maybe if we can kind of show you, there's a pole here to my left. We have a few crews here, but it looks like there is an orange ribbon wrapped around there, perhaps a sign of people who are also survivors of Route 91. Reporting live in Thousand Oaks, Lauren Coronado, News Channel 3.
Thank you, Lauren. One of the victims in the shooting was Sergeant Ron Heelis, who is being called a hero tonight.
This tragic incident has claimed the lives of 11 civilians, one shooter, and one of our brothers from the Ventura County Sheriff Department. Sergeant Ron Heelis served 29 years with the department and died in the line of duty as a true hero. Sergeant Heelis was the first deputy to arrive.
A procession carrying the body of the sheriff sergeant killed in the tragedy in Thousand Oaks passed through the community today. Sergeant Heelis died while trying to save more lives from being lost. Local law enforcement here in the valley are reacting to his death.
In this particular case, hearing what he did, his bravery is above and beyond. He was called to his duty, and unfortunately he died doing what he was called to do.
And messages of sympathy and support pouring in on social media from around the country and around the Riverside County. The Riverside County Sheriff's Department tweeting, RSO sends our deepest condolences to the family, department, and community. Sheriff-elect Chad Bianco saying many people ran from the gunfire. Sergeant Heelis ran toward it. Cathedral City Police writing Sergeant Heelis is a true hero. And Indio Police, our hearts go out to all the families and friends affected by this senseless tragedy.
Hundreds of people lined up to give blood today. There are dozens of survivors from last night's shooting, some still hospitalized and may be in need of blood. Stay with News Channel 3 for continuing coverage. Any new developments on the tragedy in Thousand Oaks.
Ventura County residents already in mourning are now facing another threat tonight. 2 wildfires forcing some people out of their homes. The Hill Fire started around 2 this afternoon and has already burned about 10,000 acres. This is a live picture of that very active fire tonight. Now that estimate of 10,000 acres is actually down from an earlier estimate of 15,000 acres tonight. The 101 freeway is closed in both directions. Power transmission lines may be in the path of this fire. And Cal State Channel Islands, that campus is evacuated tonight, and students won't be allowed to return there until Saturday. Authorities are concerned that strong Santa Ana winds could lead to explosive fire growth tonight. Another wildfire called the Woolsey Fire is burning nearby. This is video from Simi Valley, where residents can see the flames from their homes. The fire has burned 2,000 acres and is 0% contained.
Windy conditions are going to stick around. First Alert Chief Meteorologist Haley Clausen tracking your conditions. Haley, should we be concerned?
Right here in the Coachella Valley, not right now, because we are not dealing with the strongest winds. The strongest winds are keeping themselves west of the Coachella Valley. Right now in Thousand Oaks, near the fires, gust of 34 miles per hour being reported. This is not helping the matter. That is just fanning the flames. That is continuing to fuel the fire. But even around the Coachella Valley, we are still dealing with those wind gusts. 27 miles per hour right now for Beaumont as well as Mecca. A little bit lighter for most of the lower desert, but still experiencing those gusts over 20 miles per hour. And a high wind warning does remain in effect for the Inland Empire, our local mountains, even through the San Gorgonio Pass, up Highway 62 into Desert Hot Springs. More of our wind-prone areas, yes, you will continue dealing with the wind as we make our way into tomorrow morning and then continuing to taper as it goes throughout the rest of the day. Lots of sunshine because we're dealing with extremely dry conditions, relative humidity down in the single digits yet again, and temperatures will struggle to climb even up to 80 degrees for tomorrow afternoon. So temperatures feeling like fall. We just need to get rid of the wind. I'll let you know when it's really going to be leaving us for good. Coming up in my complete First Alert forecast.
We'll see you then. Thank you, Haley.
Continuing your Vote 2018 coverage as more ballots have been counted.
Next on News Channel 3, an update on a race for a very closely contested City Council seat with new numbers showing that indeed every vote does count.
And efforts to connect the CV link with more of the Coachella Valley continue. What a local leader is saying about those efforts. You're watching KESQ, the Desert's news leader. Your Vote 2018, we have updated numbers tonight on the race for an Indio Council seat in District 2. Wayman Furman has squeaked ahead of Indio's current mayor, Michael Wilson, by 1 vote. On election night, you may recall, Wilson was ahead by only 3 votes. Now, according to the Riverside County Registrar's Office, approximately 200,000 ballots still need to be tallied. The next updated results will be posted at 6 o'clock tomorrow night. Stay with News Channel 3 for continuing coverage on Your Vote 2018.
An effort is underway to take the CV Link, an alternative transportation path, into more desert communities. The Coachella Valley Association of Governments now heading a push to win state funding for 3 new community connectors, extending this pedestrian and bike-friendly path into and around Desert Hot Springs and more Palm Desert. Also, along Avenue 48 between La Quinta, Indio, and Coachella. The 3 projects looking for more than $50 million in Caltrans active transportation grants. That's money that CVAG is telling local governments to try to get now while it's available.
Including Golden Voice and going from La Quinta to Coachella and connectors, and we all got on board, as well as the executive committee, to say yes, let's start putting that package together and seeking the money while it's available.
The city of Palm Desert applying for more than $3 million in Caltrans grant money. Desert Hot Springs hoping to win more than $22 million. And the East Valley Arts and Music line is requesting nearly $25 million. We should know by late December whether any or all of the projects gets funded. You can see an in-depth report on these plans. News Channel 3's Jeff Stahl's I-Team investigation uniting the link online at KESQ.com.
Well, Palm Springs police served a search warrant at a home purchased online on East Camino Paracela and arrested more than 20 people today. Callers informed us of the heavy police presence in that area around 9 o'clock this morning. Police say they arrested 23 people at the time of the search warrant. We do not know what they were charged with tonight. Stay with News Channel 3 for any new details on this story.
Continuing coverage on the tragedy in Thousand Oaks.
Next on News Channel 3, we take a look at some of the alarming statistics on mass shootings in recent years.
And I'll be diving in more about these critical fire weather conditions that much of the state is experiencing, especially Southern California at this time. My complete first alert forecast is coming up next. You're watching KESQ, the Desert's news leader.
California Governor-elect Gavin Newsom is reacting to last night's shooting at Borderline Bar and Grill in Thousand Oaks. Newsom saying that something needs to be done.
This is America. It's got to change. This doesn't happen anywhere else on planet Earth. And we can't let folks forget that. Can't lose sight of that. Can't allow this to be normalized.
Maggie Rulli has more on the alarming statistics of recent mass shootings that have happened in just the past 2 years.
Las Vegas, Sutherland Springs, Texas, Pulse Nightclub, Orlando, and just 12 days ago, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Now, Thousand Oaks, California, 12 more lives taken.
Over the past 4 years, the United States has experienced a significant increase in mass shootings and mass casualty attacks more broadly.
A new FBI report reveals between 2016 and 2017, 21 states around the country had active shooter incidents. That's 10 more states than in the previous 2-year period. During that same time, there were 50 active shooter incidents with a total of 943 people either hurt or killed. That's 60% of all those killed or wounded in the previous 16 years combined.
Typically, these attacks are conducted by disaffected, violence-prone individuals who are searching for some sense of social connection, some sense of accomplishment.
A recent Secret Service report finds that the mass shootings that occurred in 2017 all had one thing in common. They were committed by men aged 15 to 66, and almost 2/3 of them had mental health symptoms prior to the attacks.
A lot of work has been done over the past several years by the FBI, by state and local law enforcement officials, by mental health professionals, and we actually understand what needs to be done to manage the threat posed.
Maggie Rulli, ABC News, New York.
Now, First Alert Weather with Chief Meteorologist Haley Clausen.
Well, we have been monitoring a fires across Southern California. The closest to home are the two in Ventura County, both the Hill Fire, now 10,000 acres, and the Woolsey Fire at 2,000 acres. And these are not the only fires across Southern California. We also have a fire in Northern California. This one is in Butte County, but the video that you are looking at, though, is of the Hill Fire. Again, 10,000 acres now in Ventura County from one fire alone. Now the one further towards the north in Butte County now at 20,000 acres, and this began early this morning about 6:30. The winds, the culprit as to why they are growing so quickly. When you see the brighter colors, that's indicating the stronger wind gusts. Now look right around Ventura County right now. Those winds are blowing and they will continue into tomorrow. So a red flag warning remains in effect through 10 p.m. Note it's not just Southern California. Many areas across the state are experiencing dry and windy conditions. And talk about dry, even right here at home. Relative humidity values in the single digits for some of us right now. This afternoon, it was across the board. We are dry, and winds are the reason for that as well. We have Santa Ana winds bringing us dry offshore air. Right now, a gust of 46 miles per hour being reported in Desert Hot Springs. Higher elevations going to be feeling the wind the most, along with canyons and passes. Here on the valley floor, gusts exceeding 20 miles per hour at times, but not going to be as strong as our more wind-prone areas like through the San Gorgonio Pass. So the winds will be staying with us as we head through Friday, but through Friday afternoon, those winds will begin to weaken and then continue to taper as we head into tomorrow night and into Saturday. Saturday, the winds are going to be fantastic, but we're still going to be just as dry. We have this cold air mass on top of us. I know it's not cold out there in the afternoons, but our mornings are quite chilly, and we're dealing with a lack of moisture out there. So we're staying dry not only through tomorrow, but also through the entire weekend and even next week. Now the winds, even though they will be calming down for Saturday, round 2 of Santa Ana winds looks to develop Sunday and into Monday. Notice our temperatures fantastic and right where they should be for this time of year. But again, we still have that red flag warning for our local mountains in effect through tomorrow night. The high wind warning for the San Gorgonio Pass through tomorrow evening. So the wind is real. Just be aware of that for any of your commutes.
Very dangerous conditions, though, just to the west of us.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The bands scheduled to perform as part of the Desert Classic Golf Tournament have been announced.
They're good ones. Next on News Channel 3, who will be rocking in the desert in January? You're watching KESQ, the Desert's news leader.
Tickets for the newly rebranded Desert Classic PGA Golf Tournament are on sale, and we now know who's going to be headlining. Sammy Hagar and the Circle and Bad Company are set to perform. The tournament was renamed this year after a career builder moved on from its title sponsor spot. Despite the new name, officials tell us fans can still expect all the same amenities for this year's event. The music is Friday evening and Saturday evening, directly following golf. The tournament is coming up on January 17th through the 20th at PGA West and La Quinta Country Club.
And we're learning the first celebrity that will be honored at this year's Palm Springs International Film Festival will be Glenn Close. She will receive the Icon Award at the festival's Film Awards Gala for her performance in The Wife. Past recipients include Willem Dafoe, Michael Douglas, Robert Duvall, and Tom Hanks, also Meryl Streep. News Channel 3 will be live on the red carpet on Thursday, January 3rd at the Palm Springs Convention Center. The festival runs January 3rd through the 14th.
The big question after shooting part of their movie here, how about Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper? They got to be on the list.
We're hoping. Everybody's hoping for that. Sports is up next tonight at 11 with Rams head coach Sean McVay. Speaking, I said McVay last time. Speaking about the tragedy in Thousand Oaks.
Plus a pair of local football coaches speaking on their playoff games tomorrow. Palm Desert and Xavier Prep both hitting the road in the second round. You're watching KESQ, the Desert's news leader.
This is the best local sports show with sports director Blake Arthur.
We have a lot of football in sports tonight, and we start at the prep level. Only 2 local high school teams are still standing in the CIF Southern Section playoffs. By the way, that's what CIF-SS stands for, in case you were wondering. Palm Desert and Xavier Prep, those are the 2 teams. Aztecs and Saints both with wins in their respective first-round games last week. Looking to win tomorrow night in round number 2. Aztecs are coming off their 52-28 win over the Wildcats of Monrovia, in which they relied heavily on the run game with Jordan Garcia. Palm Desert is now prepared to hit the road in their second-round game against San Gorgonio. The Oak team the head coach Shane McComb says is very athletic. But PD's no joke either. It's business as usual for the top-ranked team in the division as the Aztecs continue their quest for a CIF championship.
We know this is our season, and we're the ones that can either take it away from ourselves or continue making it happen. So I don't think it adds any extra pressure, and I'll be honest, I don't really think the boys care if they're number 1 seed or a 16 seed. Like I said, they're here to work every week, and we know what we got to do to go get a W.
Xavier Prep also alive in the playoffs, as I mentioned at the top. They picked up their first playoff win in program history last week over Banning, but they're out for more. Saints are going to look to march on with their historic season as they take on a very physical Nogales team in Division 12 tomorrow night on the road. The Saints will be challenged in La Puente, but Coach Dockery believes his bunch is battle-tested and ready to compete.
Our team really, they buy in. They like to play on the road. We've gone down to Compton this year, a 2-hour road trip, and performed very well. Got in and out on the way back, so those guys are looking forward to it. For us, we're just going to really continue to do what we've been doing. That's play feisty defense. We're going to play well on special teams, and on offense, we're going to be balanced, throwing and running the football. It's just another football game, truly, for these guys.
Little windy out there today, so sorry about the audio difficulties. The Panthers had many difficulties tonight against the Steelers on Thursday Night Football. Carolina could have used Dockery in the secondary. James Dockery, as you may know, played defensive back for the Panthers from 2012 to 2014. Ben Roethlisberger, speaking of numbers, 22 of 25, 328 yards passing and 5 touchdowns. He was sensational. Big Ben and the boys, they blow out the Panthers. 52-21 the final from the Berg. We'll finish sports tonight with a final thought and message from Rams head coach Sean McVay on the tragedy that has occurred in Thousand Oaks, a neighboring community outside of Los Angeles that is certainly in need of our support.
Our organization's thoughts and prayers are with the families and the victims that were affected by this terrible act that took place in our area. And it always gives you a perspective on, we get sometimes, I know me personally, you get upset about losing a game or whatever, and kind of brings you back down, and you really realize what's important in life, and sometimes you take some of these things for granted, and but we just can't wish anything but our thoughts, our prayers, our condolences for this terrible act that occurred. And it's just amazing that one person's act can affect so many people in a negative way.
The Rams will try to be a positive light during all this. They have announced there will be a moment of silence, prior to the game Sunday against the Seahawks. That's it for sports. You're watching the Deserts News Leader.
Thank you for joining us tonight. Stay with News Channel 3 for continuing coverage and any new developments on the tragedy in Thousand Oaks.
Right now, we leave you tonight remembering the victims who lost their lives in last night's deadly shooting.